Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode over on 539. Once again, sorry for the break. We've been having some absolutely terrible weather and yeah, so it's been real hard to get out and film, and I've been trying to plan out this trip for a while now and everything just kind of fell apart for a minute. But we're back out on the road again and in full swing, and we're here in Michigan, in Lansing, Michigan to be more specific, actually over in East Lansing. We're about to go check out some little old 1800s graveyards that seem to be in, for the area, fairly bad condition. Maybe they need some funding, maybe they need some other help. I don't know exactly what's happened in these places, but some of them that I found in this local area seem to be hidden away in these little corners and in just dire need of help. So let's go check it out and see what's going on there. Alright, we have arrived at, well, actually our second location. The first location was supposed to be attached to kind of a church downtown and be this little tiny memorial graveyard, and it looked really interesting, but I can't find it. It seems to either not be in the place that it's marked or not be there anymore. I'm gonna guess that it's just not where it's marked, but we headed to this place here. This is one of the more rough conditioned places that we're going to be visiting today, and it appears to be an 1800s graveyard that is in dire need of work, has a lot of damage, has some of those metal markers that we have found many times before, but those seem to be kind of knocked apart, and I don't know, we'll kind of see what it looks like when we walk up here, but from some of the pictures I was finding, it looks pretty rough. This place is literally like almost right against someone's house. So I'm gonna try and be quiet here. And you really wouldn't know how large this place is just by looking at it from the road, and I'll show you some images of that too. There's a massive retaining wall, and you can see where the old fence used to be here. But this place is actually pretty big, at least for where it is, and pretty secluded too. A really interesting location. And you can see right there our first date of 1885, putting us square in the 1800s. And if we walk over in this tiny little nook, I'm not gonna try and get too close to this house, but you can see the houses and cars through the trees there. What's really neat, some of you may have seen before I mention it, is this cool little retaining wall right here that looks like it's at least somewhat original. Some really historic dates here. See, 1812 to 1906. So, incredibly historic area here in Lansing. Although technically we're getting kind of outside. We're more in the East Lansing slash Galesburg area. And pretty rough looking. Probably, maybe even at one time had an iron fence like is around this area up here. And you can tell very heavy erosion damage. head up the hill here and we'll do a quick loop. I don't want to get anybody's vehicles or numbers on film here. But as we head closer to the actual residence, you can see the remnants of the fence here. And then here is our metal marker here. In good shape, other than the panels have actually been knocked out, unfortunately. See, we do have markers going all the way up to the fence. But again, I'm gonna make sure not to film our property behind here, because we do want to be respectful to the current property owners behind. Although I'm not sure this is actually maintained by them. I'm pretty sure it isn't actually. And over here in the corner, some unfortunate destruction, and one that has been partially covered up. And that is all that's in this little corner here. And you can see that going forward, there's this little creek bed that kind of runs off this way, and I don't know where that disappears into. But you can see a few more things up here on this little hill that we have to walk around to see. Again, just an incredible little hidden place off the side of the road here near Lansing, Michigan. And if I turn the camera around, you can see that we're pretty high in elevation off the road. And in fact, the retaining wall is so big that it almost itself could be considered a sidewalk. You could probably fairly easily walk along it if it weren't for that brush coming up. But turning around here, again, just this really secluded place. Especially for being so utterly surrounded by traffic here. And again, more signs of our destruction and erosion damage here that has gone on over the years. Unfortunately, some of that cannot be avoided. The ground is incredibly soft, and this must be one of the original pathways and roads here. You can kind of see the direction that it took, and it probably curved around this way to go meet with where my car is parked now. We got about a 10-foot high memorial here. And this it looks like a family memorial for a Charlie and Emily. Oh, and a James, apparently. A family plot here with the little retaining wall and then the individual stones around the edges. But looks like mid-1800s there as well. And even from the map, it was kind of hard to tell exactly how much I was going to find here and what I was going to find. This is kind of a precarious position for this guy here. It could easily topple down. I don't know if you guys can really tell. It's kind of hard to tell how steep things are on film. A lot of sand, it looks like. Yeah, this is just pure sand. I almost wonder if it was trucked in maybe to help with mud or something like that. Yeah, now we're going into this second little nook along this creek bed here. Looks like the writing for this one was on the other side. That's another 1882. not incredibly old, but still pretty decently historic area. And we're actually kind of going down a hill again and into this little, I don't even know if it's a family area. It does seem to be landscaped as such, but I think it's just that, the way the landscape is. And there's even another area like this right next to it again. So it's really interesting how they take advantage of the natural geography in places like this to really make it look beautiful. And number one complaint is just the mosquitoes at this point. Here is our other section, just straight that way, and another retaining wall too, separating it from the house and that property over there. And we can see this way a much better view of the retaining wall that we were just standing on. It's just crazy how much it widens out and becomes this fairly big place here in the middle. I'm sure it's quite a bit of work to keep this clean and mowed, let alone to try and do any restoration work, so it must be somewhat frustrating to be in situations like this where you have so many historic things to maintain, and the only other option is to let it go. And this mammoth stone here is falling off. That could really cause some damage or injure somebody, although it's highly unlikely that it would ever happen when somebody was here. So it kind of looks like we're heading towards that area I was pointing out, but we're actually separated again by another retaining wall here and some decorative, not really decorative, but some landscaping, I guess you would call it. But even back here, you can tell where the cement on this has eroded away, and that's actually why it's leaning back like this, even though the land itself is actually still pretty flat, and the retaining wall is at least doing part of its job. Pretty incredible how they've pruned this tree over the years so that it kind of takes this effect of holding on to this marker here, almost embracing it. Yeah, this place is so big. It's so interesting. I might actually have to do like a 2-part series on it. We'll see how much I end up finding. Whoa, that's unusual. It appears like something hit it at high force. I don't know if that's a sign of a gunshot or somebody, maybe like a sledgehammer. You see another like heavy impact mark right there.